everybody? It's the show called Box Seats. Frank Holder here with you, getting ready to jump the show off. In case you guys didn't know, it's a comedy show with comedians about sports. There it is. Horrible intro. I'm not the best at the intros, but let me just get the thing in with Talent. Talent, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. You're right. You are the worst at intros.
I'm not like how Rodney Perry is or Fit. Actually,
you don't even know your own show.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of guys get together. We have fun. Yeah, sports. What?
Yeah, that's how it is. Let me bring in Fig. Maybe Fig can give us a better intro. Fig, what's happening, Captain?
Hey, baby, you know what it is? It's June 3rd, baby. Yes, it is. TGIF. It's the Box Seats. It's sports. It's comedians. We in the barbershop, baby. Come get a haircut.
Yeah. My problem is I'm doing too many things at the same time. But let me bring in Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, what's happening? And Rodney Perry talking, we can't hear him.
You on mute, Rodney. You on mute.
Okay, he's still
talking.
The name of the
you on mute. There you go.
The name of the show is Box Seats, where comedy and sports meet.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Amir, what's crack-locking? He's on mute too.
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing? I'm on location. I'm in these streets.
Oh, there it is. I appreciate that.
Look like you in front of Brink. Get a withdrawal for all of us.
All right, so let's get ready to jump into the show, man. I'm going to start this thing off first and kick it off with you, Talent, because I want I want to talk about the NBA Finals, but I'm not going to.
Now.
I'm not going to jump and talk about that first. T, the first thing up, man. Deshaun Watson yesterday news came out that he offered $100,000 settlement figure to each of the 22 women who filed a civil suit against him last spring, according to the most recent litigation brought against him. So basically, the word is basically he didn't want this to continue on, according to what's going on. He offered women $100,000, and they all said no. Every single last one of them. But I will say this: some of the people that fell out of the news cycle and everything else dropped their case, they might have taken $100K. Word is not up on that yet. My man Mike Sean is joined too. Mike, what's happening?
What's good, fellas? What's good? Happy Friday.
So I will start with you, T. It's up to you. You tell me what you think, T. What's your thought process on the women supposedly turning down $100,000? What you think, T?
Well, I think I think it's clear and apparent that the ones that dropped out, maybe that's why they dropped out. It was like, I got my little quick payday, because I mean, it's a big gamble. It's a big gamble if it comes to find out that there's some sort of consensual thing in there, or some text messages or something showing that it ain't what it's cracked up to be. Not only does this get dismissed, he could turn around and pull a Johnny Depp on their ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could, and in that case, trying to get a little quick money grab, you end up making yourself bankrupt because you don't have the kind of money he got that he's receiving. You know what I mean? So I think the people that dropped out probably said, I'm gonna take this little hit. I got a little bag real quick. I'm good. I'm dropping mine. That's what I think. I think they took it.
Yeah. Fig, what's your take?
As a married man, I'm really not sure how much sex is or what it is for sexual assault nowadays. But the word on the street is it's basically $40. So if somebody offer you $100,000, that's multiplied. My math ain't good, but quite a few. Take $100,000 and run, because the chances are you could lose.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would take everything. Rodney Perry, what's your take?
I mean, you settle these proceedings to make it kind of go away, and it looks like he's trying to make it go away. But these ladies are dug in. They're getting advised somewhere that they can win. And, whether it's a lawyer or a friend or family, somebody's advising these ladies, and there's strength in numbers for them too. So I think they're trying to stay together with numbers and join forces and hopefully get more than 100,000 apiece. So, I mean, which is a substantial amount of money. I mean, I wish I rubbed on the guy.
Amir,
you can win, Jesse. Jesse, you
Amir,
can win.
Amir. Yeah,
I
Amir.
think to the point that Rodney just made, I think there is strength in numbers, but I think, like anything, people are going to hang in there as long as they can because they're trying to get a payday. I think that it's sad in this day and age. You have, this gentleman, life in toil now for almost 2 years or however long this thing has been. Take the money, go on with your life. Look, there's not that many massages in the world that they're gonna make $100,000 doing massages. Let's just keep it 1,000,
Right.
unless
Yeah.
they're massaging billionaires or something like that. So go and take the money, enjoy your life. You can open your own massage parlor, and then you could, hire more girls and make as much money as you like. Come on, franchise, think bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Mike Sean, they're seeing millions. Somebody's advising they're going to get millions from this, and they'll split that up. So maybe that's what the problem is. What's your take,
The
Mike?
massage parlor, open a brothel.
Bravo, talent upgraded it. When people settle, I always hate how people are judged when they settle. Like sometimes a celebrity is settled, like Roddy said, to get out the way. That doesn't mean the person's guilty. Then the other person, the victim who settles, people say, well, that means that person was lying. Well, that doesn't automatically mean they're lying. It means that they could be effed up financially and they really need this money. So they're taking it. We're never going to know the truth of this. We're never going to know the truth. All we're going to know is that this is going to linger for another year. This is gonna hover over his season, the Cleveland Browns season, and these ladies' lives for another year. This is not gonna go away because everybody's not gonna accept $100,000. And and I don't critique anybody who does take $100,000. Like Rodney said, I don't wish I would have done that, but I take $100,000 even if somebody did something mean or something did criminal to me. I might take the $100,000 even if I was right.
Yeah. You really can't knock that either. I'm gonna jump into the NBA Finals real fast because there's a couple other stories I want to circle back to. But let me jump into the NBA Finals real fast and get this out of the way. Even though I'd like to extend it. I'd like to talk long about it. But T,
I think you should.
Talent, talk to me and tell me about what your thought process is. You saw game one of the finals. You saw the Celtics end up upsetting Golden State Warriors. You said that it wasn't going to happen yesterday because obviously it's game one. It was a big upset. The Celtics ended up doing a lot in the fourth quarter. What's your take on game one and the series, T?
Well, let's talk about a lot of amazing things. First of all, it's amazing that you went to this game only 9 minutes in. That's a record.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can always tell when your team wins, Frank.
Yeah.
9 minutes in. Let's get right to the NBA. I thought it was a great game. Yeah, I was wrong. They pulled off the upset, got the steal in game one, but I wasn't mad that I was wrong because it was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I kept looking for the fix to be in. There was no overall fix last night. Win, lose, or draw, can't nobody walk away. Nah, man, the refs did, the refs didn't. The refs were refs last night. So it was no astronomical, blatant extra thing that helped either team or hurt either team. I thought what I saw was they say careful when you read your own press clippings. What I saw was a very calm, borderline cocky Golden State team that thought it was in the bag. And as we've seen throughout these playoffs, I think Mike alluded to it the most, that third quarter's a mother.
Yeah.
That third quarter is the most deciding part of the game, whether it's halfway in or on the back end. But that third quarter is a difference changer. And Boston was very patient. They were very patient with, the D is there. We all agree on the D, but the offense, they were very patient at moving the ball around. To be honest with you, it looked like they flipped jerseys. It looked like green was yellow and yellow was kind of green. They moved the ball like we're known to see in Golden State do. So they earned that win. It was all theirs. I hope the whole series is this exciting.
You know what, T? I'm gonna say this. This is the first game in the NBA playoffs that the refs didn't make their presence felt. To me, that's just where I didn't see I didn't even notice the
Exactly.
refs. I didn't even notice them last night. Fig, what's your take on the Celtics game? Game one, the Celtics ended up getting the upset in Golden State. What was your take? How'd you look at the game? Everything else, because the refs, like we said, the refs to us, the refs weren't noticeable in the game at all last night. There
Right.
were horrible calls that stood out to me. What's your take, Fig?
No, it was there was no discrepancies with the refs. The refs played. I think they called it pretty evenly. I thought the Golden State Warriors played an excellent game for 3 quarters. I thought they felt like they had it in hand, and they had a 12-point lead going into the fourth. Nobody was doing anything spectacular that had on a green uniform, and I think they relaxed. I think they took their foot off the gas. And Boston Celtics caught fire. As a matter of fact, they hit a historic number of threes in the fourth quarter. Al Horford scored 18 points in the fourth quarter off a three by himself, which he had never done in his entire career in the NBA. So it took a historical effort for the Boston Celtics to win game one in the arena in Oracle. And I'm looking very forward to game two.
Okay, that's his take. Mike, what is your actually I skip let me go to Sleepy. Rodney Perry, what's your take on this, bro? How it happened and how'd you see it?
Well, this is interesting. Y'all said there was no interference from the ref, but no interference is interference. When you've been calling the games one way and all of a sudden you're not calling the games that way, that's a difference, and it's not consistent at all. But that's okay. I don't think that's a major issue. My prediction going forward is that Golden State will lose the next game. Everybody's going to turn against them, and then they're going to sweep from there, 4-0. So
Wow.
it's Warriors in 6.
Okay, that's what you
I said
got.
it.
Okay.
They gonna win. They gonna go 2-0, and they gonna start saying that stat. They always say nobody's ever come back from down 2-0, and they're gonna do it.
Okay, that's his take. Amir, what's your take on how everything happened? Game one.
I think we witnessed Golden State first and foremost underestimating the Boston Celtics. I think to the point that Fig made about historic, that was historic between both teams. First off, so both teams shot a lot of threes and made a lot of threes. But here's the interesting, caveat to the game yesterday. Steph Curry, obviously had a great game. He caught fire in the first half. When he was on fire, they only were up 4 points. He was on fire. They were up 4. There wasn't a runaway or anything like that. Tatum did not have a good game from a point standpoint. But again, what people aren't factoring in is the rest of his team showed up. They play team basketball. They don't play one star. And if Golden State thinks that they're going to continue to try to trap him for the rest of the series, now you see what Brown can do for you. They got a two-headed monster. Brown and Tatum can do the exact same thing. So now Golden State has to figure out, how do we stop both of them? Because you can't stop just one, because the other one can go off. I do think Golden State is going to win the next game, and I still think it's going to be a great series. But I think Golden State, for the first time, got punched in the mouth the entire playoffs. On the other hand, Boston has had nothing but challenge after challenge. Golden State hasn't had a challenge until now. We got to see how they respond.
Interesting take. And Mike Sean, what's your take on this, bro?
I said that this was going 7, and this was a bad matchup for Golden State. And it showed last night. You got Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, you got Brown, you got Klay Thompson, you got Marcus Smart, you got Draymond Green. Boston realized ain't no reason to rotate to Draymond Green. If Draymond is really going to shoot like that the rest of the series and you're going to be the weak link like that, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And I love what Amir said. The composure that the Celtics showed when Steph was on fire in the first quarter, that should have been the death blow for most teams on the West Coast. It wasn't. Then after Mark Jackson, who wants to have Steph Curry's baby, like Mark Jackson wants to have Steph Curry's baby, like there goes that man again. And these announcers were bragging about Golden State. At the end of the half, Golden State was losing.
Yeah.
So then the third quarter comes and they hit him with another death blow. And what does Boston do? They keep their composure. What does that coach do? Marcus Smart, a mainstay on the team, is on the bench, but he never switches that lineup that makes the comeback. He had the guts to say, I'm keeping these dudes in. They're running them. So they're doing what they got to do. Jason Tatum had a bad game and still had 13 assists. That's maturity. This is a hard matchup for them. And then when they pulled away and they showed the type of playoff, I guess, veteranship that people don't think they have because a lot of them haven't been to the finals, they look like the veterans. Now, Golden State's back against the wall. Like, I know Rodney had a prediction. Golden State cannot lose Sunday. They cannot lose Sunday. They're not going to beat Boston 4 out of 5. So this is going to be, I don't expect them to lose Sunday, but they know they can't lose Sunday. They're not going to win 4 out of 5 after that to win the finals. And it's going to be a 7-game series.
Okay. All right. So everybody got their thing. Go ahead, Fig. I see you want to jump in.
Caveat. Also, the guys that played bad on the Golden State side, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and Wiggins, they didn't have pretty good games. The only person that really scored on Golden State, like that seemed prolific, was Steph Curry. He had
Wiggins was okay. Wiggins was
everybody
okay.
Else, go look at the box score.
If Wiggins gives you 20 points, that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, Wiggins was okay. All right, so take off Wiggins. Let's go with Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson.
And the one thing that can change, Klay Thompson cannot cover Jaylen Brown.
Nah.
That's not going to change.
No, he can't. But, at the end of the day, anybody want to change any prediction?
Oh, hell no. Not me.
Okay.
I'm still trying to get a bet. Y'all still bullshit. I want to bet.
Me too.
Well,
whatever you want to put up, Frank.
T, you owe me $1 because we bet the game 1.
No, we bet on the series.
I'm just playing.
But I'm keeping my prediction. I think everybody, there's no wrong answer here right now. Everybody's seeing it sway and go a certain way. But the closest one that I'm going to rock with on here is Rodney. I mean, and Fig said it too. Like, you slept on this team. All that happened in game 1 is you slept on it. You thought it was going to be a lot easier than it actually was because you never know who you're matching up against. And Boston defense is real. Nobody's ever questioned or argued that. So now you have to make your adjustment. Here's the thing. You have championship pedigree on the side of the Warriors. That's going to outweigh the new guys. It almost always does. Like, history is not called history because it's like fabricated or comes out of the blue, out of the cloud. It's historical because it happens time and time again. History has shown us the new guy is the guy that must overpower, must make the adjustment, must come in with the super game plan. The guys who won, they got the thing that's proven winners. Whatever their thing is, it's won before. These are the new guys here. So I'm keeping my bet the same.
Can I just say something about that, T? Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. But in this particular case, the only reason why I'm not going to definitively take that for what you call it is 2 things. First off, if you look at the Boston Celtics team and what they managed to do with the second half of this season, I'm not talking about overall, just this season, those guys have become so poised and understand what they're doing out there on the court at all given moments. Even in the third quarter when Golden State went off, and they did go off in the third quarter yesterday, if you looked at the composure of that team, at no point did anybody on that team look scared, look worried, or say to themselves like, dag, we really in a battle now or we in a fight. They never look like that. When you play against Golden State, if you look at historically through the playoffs to this point, every time they've had one of them third quarters where they've gone off, teams have just totally fallen apart or look, rattled. And the last thing I'll say is Al Horford, having come back to the Boston Celtics, ever since Giannis did whatever he did to him, he woke up something in Al Horford that you can't seem to rattle or shake that young man for some reason. And it looks like he's playing off of that and saying to himself, this is my last chance, my last stance to get me a championship. And I got these young guns and I'm a ride with them. That just is what it appears to be to me.
And just one more thing, Jordan Poole and Looney and those guys that Golden State are counting on have no finals experience. They have and you saw Jordan Poole yesterday fold up like a chair.
But it don't matter. If you rolling with you rolling with the champ. So when you next to the champ.
But I want to just challenge what he said about factuality. When Detroit's first time in the finals, they won. The Bulls' first time in the finals, they won. When you go through them Eastern Conference finals, that's like being in championship games when you lose. So to me, the finals experience, yeah, I get it. But when you go to Eastern Conference finals, the way the Bulls had to go through Detroit, by the time they got to finals, they were already veterans. They knew what it was like to be under them pressure situations. So I just still think it's going to be a 7-game series. I think it's going to be an amazing series. And one more thing, when Steph Curry rolled that ankle, watch that, because he rolled that ankle at the end of the game yesterday and passed the ball. And unfortunately, I don't want it to end like that on an injury, but just watch that ankle, because it was bad how he rolled it.
See, you know what? Everybody's gonna think I'm crazy because I'm a Celtics fan, but I think the Celtics are gonna get him in 5. Honestly, I think the Celtics are gonna.
You gonna put money on it, or you just
No,
gonna talk?
he don't want to put money on it. Fig.
Hold on, you figure you've been saying about putting money on the whole NBA playoffs, bro. Have you won some money this playoffs?
Yes. Yes.
You lost.
Yes.
You lost.
The answer is yes. I won.
You lost to the Celtics,
Do
but
you want to bet? Yes or no?
You lost in the Celtics.
You want to put money on it? Yes or no?
Hey,
How
you
much?
lost in the Celtics bet series.
How
You
much?
keep losing. You keep
How
losing.
much?
It doesn't matter. You keep losing.
How much?
How
much?
I just want to say I owe Talon 100.
You think they're gonna win? Put some money up.
You ain't one off of me.
$5, $10, $20, $30.
You ain't won nothing off
What?
me.
How much?
Talon, send me your Cash App. I still owe
Because
you
you don't
$100.
bet nothing.
You ain't won nothing off. Yeah,
You don't bet nothing.
Lucky for you, because I'd have
Scared money don't. Lucky. Oh my God. I'll have to move out.
Hey guys, while y'all working this sports book out, can I say something?
Go ahead, Rodney. Because I
Get outta here.
out.
You know, it's amazing to me how all the analysts, including Mike Sean and all the rest of you guys, have drunk the Kool-Aid. You guys have drank the Kool-Aid.
What's the Kool-Aid?
The Kool-Aid is, oh my God. All of a sudden, Golden State is going to be pieces of shit. And they not.
Right.
Wait, Rodney. Rodney said, I said
Who said
from
that?
the beginning, if I had to bet, I'd bet Golden State. I just said it was going 7. So quote me correctly. Didn't nobody drink the Kool-Aid. I said it was going 7. And I said if I had to bet. And I also said that this was a bad matchup for Golden State. So make sure you keep my quotes right. Ain't nobody drinking the Kool-Aid.
Like I was saying,
Mike
Mike Sean and Stephen A. Smith drunk the
was
Kool-Aid.
wrong. No, Stephen was wrong. He was wrong. My facts were facts.
Stephen A. Smith don't count.
I like the Boston Celtics. I think they're a great team. They are going to fall apart.
You hear that, Amir?
They are going. They had outstanding contributions from unlikely people.
Thank you.
Oh, those people have been doing it all. See, this is what kills me.
They haven't, guys. Not scoring. Scoring.
No, yes, they have, because you haven't been
watching. No, they haven't.
Did you see what
Al Horford put 5 points in the final game?
Did you see what Al Horford
means?
18, not 20.
Did you see what Al Horford did?
That's not a contribution.
Did you see what he did against the Milwaukee and Giannis? Did you see what he did against the best player in basketball?
Historic means.
How many times are you gonna repeat it? You
the
said
it because he was talking like you are. He was talking.
I wasn't finished.
Been doing that. This is the first time. That's why they called it historic.
All right, so that's 7. You want to say that?
Thank you. I just want to make sure that you and everybody else understand.
If you're the Boston Celtics and you're relying on Al Horford to carry you financially with points, you're going to get your ass tore up.
Well, if you're relying on a rookie like Jordan Poole, who
I'm not relying on no damn Jordan Poole. I said I don't bet against Steph Curry.
If Jordan Poole doesn't play
I'm not betting against Steph Curry. That's what I said.
But that team has depended on Jordan Poole the entire season for his contribution. It's called a team. That's why it's called a team. And if Steph Curry has to do what he did yesterday, if he has to put that performance, they're in trouble.
This is where these ideas are flawed.
Oh my God! So if Steph Curry has to score 30 points,
no. Hold on, Figment for it. What they did, what the Golden State Warriors failed in the fourth quarter, they stopped moving the ball for whatever reason. That don't lie on the shoulders of Jordan Poole. That don't lie on the shoulders. That's the team ball. That's coaching, if anything.
If anything,
you know.
I didn't see that. I thought it was called defense. But okay, go ahead.
I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it. Is either great defense or poor offense. But Golden State generally moves the ball and they're very kinetic on offense, and they just stopped doing that in the fourth quarter. Was it like Amir said? What did they begin to go? We whooping their ass, and they took a break, maybe.
Talent.
But please believe. The people that's writing these stories for the NBA to keep y'all compelled and interested, they want a win for the Boston Celtics.
Says who?
A first game win is enough to get you guys to talking about how great they are, and they're not.
Hey, Talent, I want you to mark this down. We started at 9 minutes in, and now we're at 27. Now, when we get to Monday, I want the same energy.
I say Golden State may lose another game.
The same energy.
To mount the drama. Golden State may lose again. And then y'all I'll be fully on board saying they ain't shit. And guess what?
That's win.
That's true though. If they go down another game, people will be fully drunk off the Kool-Aid, talking sweep and what if and all that. They going home now. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing that half of you guys are missing. We are such a microwave day society. We are such a right now group of people, fanatics. Let's not forget who we're talking about. The one real thing that just said is you won this game on the books, on the records by 12. But when you look at how you won it and who won it, you know damn well you're not going to have any more than one more Al Horford game outings like that. So it got to come from somewhere else, i.e. the big guy got to step up and be consistent. The one thing you can set your watch to is Steph Curry. Steph Curry, win, lose, or draw, is going to give you that Steph Curry continuity throughout this whole series. All right. All we waiting for on the Golden State side is that showing of the other splish.
Plus one, yeah.
Whoever splish, splash, the game over, and we know that. I don't know what else we talking about.
And everybody has been waiting for Clay.
Yeah.
Everybody has been waiting. We keep saying that and repeating that same thing over and over and over again. And the fact of the matter is, his defense ain't gonna change. And that's why
I'm not worried about his defense.
I'm worried about his defense because at the end of the day, he can't cover this dude.
But they're not worried about that. That's why you play to help defense play. They know that.
But guys, I mean, we don't have to take the whole game into consideration. They was getting the ass toe up.
No, they wasn't. They were winning at halftime.
They was down by 10 points.
No, they were winning.
They were down by 14 points.
Yes, but they were winning. Getting your ass kicked is getting your ass kicked the entire game. They were literally winning at halftime, and then they lost the third quarter. And
they lost the first quarter, Mike Sean. They won the first quarter. They lost the second quarter.
They did not. They were in the lead.
They won the second quarter.
No, I'm saying they won the first quarter. They lost the second quarter. We're talking about Golden State.
Yeah, they lost the second quarter.
They lost the second quarter. They won the third quarter.
And they lost the fourth. So how's that getting your ass kicked?
They was getting their ass kicked until the third quarter.
One quarter.
2-1.
Oh my God. All right.
All right. Well,
I'm saying, what's the odds? What's the odds? Odds maker, Talent, you're a gambler. What's the odds of Golden State giving up another 28 points?
Next to Neil. Negative
28 points in what? Wait. 28 points in what? In a quarter?
A 28-point swing in a quarter.
Swing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, you know what? I'll just say this: the Celtics have done that at least 25 times this season. At least 25. But you guys
against Golden State, they played them 25 times.
They've had at least a 25-point swing at least 25 times.
This is another thing that's killing me. People making the fact that they went 7 or 10 say, they battle tested because they been getting their ass whooped.
By who? They're in the championship. Like that is
Dude,
the most
at some point the fatigue is going to kick in. You can be 25, but the fatigue is going to kick in with these guys playing 6-game, 7-game series. Let me tell you, Golden State's been sitting there waiting.
And they all 30s.
They have,
Now,
but they're older too, Rodney.
yes,
Look,
Golden State's in their 30s.
yo, everybody's in their 30s on Golden State. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. And Steph Curry got the ankles of a freaking newborn baby. Y'all know this. He's not. If they keep
How much you got him, man?
Hold up, Fig. He got the ankles of a newborn baby, and he can't check anybody. He cannot check anybody. He's also a liability on that team. He's also a liability. You saw when Tatum was backing him down, he couldn't do anything with him. He can't hold him. They keep. I don't have to bet you, Fig. I'm just telling you what I know.
To have an opinion, you don't have to bet to have an opinion.
And you
Usually when
Amir is right. Tatum is cold. Tatum is cold. But Tatum have lapses, doesn't he?
He does. But if you looked at the game yesterday, in his ability to have lapses, what he does now is he defers to his other teammates and allows them to get and become a part of the game. And if you're watching, that is as much as y'all hate him, the LeBron playbook. Oh, snap. Let me get my teammates involved so this way we have some continuity. Y'all never want to talk about that.
He has the last word. He has the last word. We're gonna move on.
We never want to talk about that. But what Tatum is out there or what he did last night was he realized that he couldn't get it going as far as his offensive ability. So then what he did was he deferred to other people, and he saw that they were cooking, and he saw that they were triple teaming him. So he's like, you know what? I'll get the other players involved, and we'll work it that way. That's team basketball. That's how that's supposed to be played. I don't know why we act like that's not done like that way. You know what I mean? But okay.
But Amir, you got the last word. You got the last word. So let me move on.
Okay.
All right. So T, you up, right? T, I'm gonna throw this out to you, and I'm gonna drop this in your lap because I saw this morning. Kevin Durant said something on social media. Honestly, I'm not even gonna put my words. I'll throw it out to you. He said guys like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, and Shannon Sharp have all changed the game for the worse with their comments they've been making, especially on the finals and the playoffs and NBA in general. Do you agree or do you disagree with Kevin Durant, who made this comment on social media? And I'll tell you this too. Stephen A. Smith went on this morning and he tried to get in. He put all kind of business out there about Kevin Durant. What do you think about this?
I agree. I've been saying this for years, in more ways than one, and more sports than one. I think that they have gotten so out of control with it that they dictate the way things go after they do their commentating. They get on. I've watched them time and time again. I really believe them as costing people their jobs, their livelihoods, the city that they reside in, and everything. Because if you get enough people to say something, remember my great grandfather said, you get enough people to say something, the rest will fall in line and believe it. And that's what happened with these pundits. If they come on and say something at a certain amount of time, and with a certain type of vindictiveness and everything, and steadfast of it, people will watch. We're not the only ones that watch these guys and listen to these guys. It's not just the fan of the game that's watching Stephen A. Smith. It's the GMs and the execs and the referees and the coaches and the players, of course, because people want to read their own press clippings. And they do make slight decisions back and forth according to that. Now, I agree with him across the board of sports. Of course, he's looking at it in the sport in which he resides and plays. But yeah, I agree with him. I think they've changed the game, for the worse, because now you're not doing the things you do so organically, but yet you're, again, reading the press clippings. Oh, the ref changed this and the ref, blah, blah. I'm going to read that and go back. They said that about me last time, so I'm going to do this time. Absolutely, I believe it.
Okay, that's his thought. Fig, what's your take on this?
I don't know. The thing is that, everybody has an opinion about sports. These guys just have a job where, they're in front of millions and millions of people and they're talking to them at the same time. But I don't look at it any different as, us having the same kind of argument in the barbershop or wherever we are at the club, in the bar, on box seats or whatever. Everybody has their own opinion. If I'm watching the game and I'm focusing on the game, if Stephen A says something different or Shannon Sharp says something different, or Skip Bayless or any other pundit on ESPN, Fox, or any other sports network says something different than what I actually saw with my own eyes, they're not going to sway me, not one little bit, because I have my own opinion based on what I'm watching. And anybody else that is swayed by that is subject to programming, and they don't have their own mind and their own thinking. So I don't see that. What they say doesn't affect me. I enjoy it as entertainment, period.
Kevin Durant said some things, Rodney Perry. Do you agree or disagree with him saying that these pundits are ruining the sport? You're on mute. You're on mute, Rodney.
You're on mute, Rodney.
I don't agree that it's ruining the sport. I think it's a necessary evil. But how about this? If you're Kevin Durant and your name is constantly in their mouth, it's definitely affecting you. It affects your psyche. It affects you when you play the game. It affects you when you go to the barbershop. Well, he probably don't do that, but it affects it affects you as you move through your life. So for him personally, it's probably a huge effect, and we have to put ourselves in their shoes. But ultimately, what I'm saying is it's par for the course. Like, you don't get to be an NBA player without it. So you got to kind of get used to it and deal with it, and maybe even lean into it. Maybe even be friends with some of these guys, because you're going to be in their shoes maybe at some point as on that other side of the fence as a commentator. So like, I think Jalen Rose does a great job at walking the fence. You know, he does a great job. And if you're an athlete and you're expecting somebody that's your, race and or color to stick up for you, it don't happen a lot of times as if you're expecting that. So I think he probably need to grow up, put his big boy drawers on and not worry about it.
Amir, the funny thing is maybe Rodney Perry made some great points. Maybe Kevin Durant just doesn't like them talking about him all the time. Maybe it's just that simple.
It could be. And I think for, cats like Kevin Durant, or for anybody, look, you're always going to have critics. That's just the way life happens. Good, bad, and different. There's always going to be critics. But there's always going to be critics because at the end of the day, there are people who, in a lot of cases, are either trying to or working extremely hard to get to places and things that you've had the opportunity to either be, see, and be a part of. So it goes with the territory. The fact that these guys are influencers in a real way because of the way media is set up now. Because we got to think about when media was, what it was like, especially when we started first watching basketball and sports. Shoot, basketball used to be on tape delay. Boxing matches used to only come on Saturdays and, at certain times. We don't have that. We're in a world now where things are 24/7, all day, every day. And each sport, for whatever reason, has decided to have multiple pundits on multiple stations, constantly inundating us with what is supposedly either good or new information. Kev, you got to deal with it, sir. The pundits themselves, they got to deal with it. It is what it is. What we got to start doing is, to Fig's point, just know that some of it is going to be entertainment. Some of it's going to have some, a bit of reality to it. You pick and choose which one works for you.
Yeah.
What we doing?
Mike, the funny thing is, Mike, maybe Kevin Durant just trying to turn the tables on them so people could talk about them for a change. Maybe he thought this through. Maybe it's a long ploy. What do you think, Mike?
I just want to tell Kevin Durant this is nothing new.
Right.
Like, people really forget when Michael Jordan had that amazing game in Boston in the playoffs, that amazing game where he almost beat them single-handedly. In the paper in New York, and I wish I would have kept it, the writers said you cannot win a championship with Michael Jordan because he's selfish. That's what they were calling him. That's what the sports writers were calling him.
Right.
It's been a constant thing. But now these same sport writers don't remember what they used to say about Mike and how they used to kill him for being a selfish one-man band who could never win a championship. Second thing.
He lost that game. He was 63 points. He lost that game.
But it was an amazing performance with a team that could not beat the Celtics. So there was no way that team was going to beat the Celtics. Number two, Rodney's right. It's the gift and the curse. Without this attention that these guys give, you're not getting these Supermax deals. Now, Kevin Durant, if you have a problem with them talking about you, you should also have a problem with all these guys saying last year that you were the best player on the planet. Because a lot of the guys that you're complaining about were saying that you were the best player on the planet. Last point. The one point I do have is when these reporters and these guys like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless take it off the court and make it personal. And what Stephen A. Smith did with Kyrie Irving was personal. And you started challenging that man's character and his
That's what
morals
I'm
and his
saying.
principle. That was wrong. Now there should be a line. Skip Bayless has made a career at trying to destroy LeBron James.
Right. But
He's
see,
made a
that's my point.
career.
That's my point. My point is not, and to go back to Fig's analogy, first of all, thank you, Mike. I got my money. Mike paid his money. Second of all, Frank, that's a nice picture of you and your mom posted the other day. I just popped up in my feed. All right. Now
that was beautiful.
This is the thing. Everyone has an opinion. I'm not charging it to them on their basketball or sports opinions. That's different. There's a line that, like Mike said, one of those lines is when they go personal, and another line is when you actually call for someone's job. Now, Fig, the reason why this is different than the barbershop is me and you could say fire, fire, fire all day in the barbershop to no avail, because we're not talking to the masses. We're talking in a barbershop amongst some friends with zero power to fire anybody. Now,
Right.
when you get on nationalized and international television and you're up there, you got a highly rated show, people really, after years go by, this is why they pay them the big bucks. People believe that what you're saying is God. You're no longer the guy in the barbershop. You're Stephen A. Smith, sports guru. You're Jalen Rose. You're all these guys. You have to whom much is given, much is expected. You have to be responsible of the words you choose. There's a difference in opinion and just either job hunting, trying to get people moved or fired, whatever the case may be. And more importantly, what Mike just said, that personal shit has no space in that job. You have a job to do.
Yeah,
I
But
agree.
see,
and just-
may I?
I'll say this. I think they did make it personal. But let me move on. I'm gonna throw this out to you,
okay.
back to you, T. You got the next thing, T. You're gonna start this one out because it's something I definitely want to get into, and I think we're gonna debate about this one also. The NBA commissioner Adam Silver went and said this morning, talent. I'm gonna throw this out to you first. He said that the NBA is definitely going to review the all NBA selections each season, because instead of how they do it now, where they do a voting on current position based system, they want to select the 15 best players regardless of position, which I think is going to get a lot of the NBA fans to vote more versus people voting for a position for the best guard, best forward. Because I personally hate that type. What is your thought process, T? You start out first, man. Do you like what Adam Silver's thinking about doing, or do you want to, or you like it the way it is?
Oh no, I like it. I love it. I say, to me, I think that that's how the playoffs will be chosen. Forget the top 8 over here, the top 8 over in this coach. I say, of all the games, you pick the top, and the top should be the ones that wind down playing off. So I agree with him picking the top regardless of position. I think this is a good change, and like you just said, you made a good point. You'll get more people involved in the voting of something that way than if you say, oh, we just do guards and forwards and centers, because the pool is smaller. You small, you drain the lake. You don't want to drain the lake. You want it to turn into an ocean. I'm all for it. I think it's a good thing.
Fig, you like this whole new system that they're trying to institute, saying the best players, you vote for who the best players are regardless. Like if you like LeBron, it's LeBron. If you like whoever it is, you just vote for the 15 best players, or do you like them voting for the best position?
I'm not sure who the best players are. I think what happens is people vote for who their favorite players are. And I think where we'll run into a problem here is I don't think many centers will get in. They say positionless basketball, but I think the big men probably won't get as many votes as, some of the other, what we would call sexy basketball, the sexy basketball player, the guys that shoot the 3-pointers, got a little flair to their game and stuff like that. I think we'll end up missing out on a lot of big men, because big men need point guards to pass them the ball in order for them to perform at their best. And the guys who have the ball all the time will probably get the most shine. And I think it could become a problem.
Rodney Perry, do you like it the way it is, or do you want it to go back to or go to 15 best is what voted in you play?
I think there needs to be a change. I don't think going to 15 best is the answer, because like Fig said, you'll alienate some players and they may never get in as the game changes. So in the time being, until they find a adequate solution, I think they should leave it alone.
Okay, all right. Let me ask Amir. What you think, Amir?
That's a really interesting dynamic, because I do think that without having a complete package, and we know that it's weird now because, like you said, they keep saying that we're in positionless basketball, but I don't know if that's necessarily true, because we are finding, as we're fans of the game, that without certain pieces, the game doesn't flow like it's supposed to, and then we don't understand, or we don't see the game being played in a manner that we've not only become accustomed to, but that we enjoy. So I think that they're going to have to come up with a definite different solution. But I'd like the way that it is now. I mean, it's voting. I just think maybe the voting portion of it should be expanded in a different way, and I can't say what that should be.
Interesting take. And lastly, I want to see what Mike Sean has to think about this. 15 best for each side, or do you like it with positions?
And this is for first team, like picking the first team.
No,
It's not
they do 15 on each side, 15 East, 15 West. Or
for the All-Star game. We're talking All-Star game or first team. We're talking All-Star game.
Yeah, All-Star.
Yeah, I can't do that because we can't just have a whole All-Star game full of guards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I do want to see. I wouldn't want to, like, if that's the case, like a Tim Duncan, as great as he is wasn't a popular player like an Allen Iverson. So I think Fig and Rodney and those guys are right. Like, we don't want to miss out on great players and not give them, what they deserve simply because they're not popular or they don't play in the right market. I don't know how to answer this, dog. Like, honestly, I just keep it the way it is. I don't think it's a major issue. I think the players' egos are more what this is about than the fans. So I would keep it like it is. I think Adam Silver, I think you got bigger problems than that. I think there are bigger problems that you got to deal with, like the rest.
See, I'm gonna throw the next one up. I'm gonna throw this next one up to you, bro, because it was interesting. I don't know if you happen to see it. You might have seen it, but Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, he's waiting to become an offensive a head coach. He said something yesterday. He said, "I've just got to go out and get it to be an offensive, to be a head coach." Here's the interesting stat: the last 5 offensive coordinators of the Kansas City Chiefs have all become head coaches after, great seasons or mediocre seasons. All of the offensive coordinators in the last 3 years who were OCs who got job offers, all of them, and all 32 teams, some of them didn't take them, but all of them in the last 3 years have gotten job offers, except several ones who are Black, including Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is the only offensive coordinator who has not gotten a job offer to head coach a team. What's your take on that right now, T?
Well, there's a song out called "Eric Bieniemy is the Enemy." You know what I mean? It's a good song too. 3 mixes. Kanye did a remix. Listen, I mean, every time we get to this NFL, man, it's sad to say that. I guess we pulling back layers. It's blatant what it is. It's obvious what it is. Had this guy, with his skill and knowledge of the game, had he had a different skin tone, and probably maybe just a little more light skin. Ain't got to be fair skin or whatever, just a little more light. Obviously white, he's getting job offers. There's something, man. This is so. It's so Mark Jackson-ish in the NFL. Like, there's something got to be behind the skirt we don't know about, that we're not fully privy to. That's what comes to mind when you look at, the obvious facts of job offers, wins and losses, X and O's, and he's not getting any of that. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Obviously, we know color's going to play a part, but why? Why? It's something. It's two tiers to color in the NFL. Like, there's because you're Black, but then there's those guys like they're Black and we're still going to hook them up. The Todd Bowles and those guys, but I don't get it. I don't get it for the life of me.
Fig, changing the story, Fig. Miami Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa, or however you want to pronounce his name, Tua. He's upset right now that everybody's questioning his arm strength out of Miami, especially when people are looking at the videos and stuff of him throwing bombs. People are saying his arm strength isn't there where it's supposed to be. Everything else. Do you think the Miami Dolphins made the right decision with sticking with Tua, or do you think Miami Dolphins should trade for Tua and trade and get somebody else before the season starts? What's your take?
It would depend on who the somebody else is. Tua is, I think he's a good quarterback. Hasn't been in there long enough with any level of stability. Brian Flores is no longer there. The thing is that when your organization matters, and being able to do something over and over again as a young athlete, quarterback, basketball player, whatever, having a stable organization matters, like the same coach, same offensive coordinator, same defensive coordinator, same system. But if it changes every year, every single year, you lose something. You know, you're missing your progression. So it depends on what kind of quarterback we're talking about. You know what I mean? We talk about some of the higher echelon quarterbacks, or we talking about just some journeymen. If we're talking about just some journeymen, then I think you keep Tua. But if you're talking about a high echelon quarterback that's available, that's not injury prone, then maybe you want to move off of him. But if you don't have something significant, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. I say keep Tua.
All right, Amir, changing the story. It looks like obviously Denver has high expectations and everything else. People are saying that Denver, literally Broncos, could be expected to literally make it to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna ask you, now that they got obviously the new QB from Seattle, do you think it's Super Bowl or bust for Russell Wilson?
I think they're gonna have that kind of expectation and put that kind of pressure on him. But I think, hopefully this is an opportunity for Russell to prove to the world that what he was able to do in Seattle wasn't just a fluke. Not that any of us believe it, but sometimes the outside forces that be seem to think of things in that light. So I hope he goes up there, and I really do hope he, takes that team as far as his skill set and talents will. And if it ends up being a Super Bowl, then kudos to him, and that's what he's supposed to do. Show everybody he's the real deal.
All right, that's his take. Rodney Perry with Green Bay Packers coming up, and Aaron Rodgers saying what he said and everything else. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers have lost two of their top wide receivers. One of them went to Oakland, and the other one went, I think, to Cleveland. I'm not sure. I'll double check on that. Do you think the Green Bay Packers are going to make it to the NFC Championship game? Hell, do you even think they're going to be one of the final four teams in the NFC come playoff times without Devontae Adams?
I think so. Aaron Rodgers is like Tom Brady. They always find somebody to make rise to the top. And this receiving core, this is your shot. These are passes you wasn't getting. This is your chance. So it's next man up. So somebody's going to materialize, and I hope they're on my fantasy team.
Okay. That's a really good answer. That's a good answer to say that. Last thing is with you, Mike Sean. Tom Brady obviously came back out of retirement and everything else. He said his pressure to end retirement because of the NFL free agency. He saw people leaving and everything else. He wanted to make sure he grabbed everything else. Do you expect that with LA out there doing really well with and possibly trying to repeat? Do you expect Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be one of the final four teams to possibly make it to the NFC Championship game, or what do you think?
I give up rooting against Tom Brady. He was one defensive meltdown away from going to the Super Bowl last year. So Tom Brady is Tom Brady. And now that he's back, I'm sure he has more control with what's his name, the former head coach not being there. And him and Todd Bowles can get it together. I will not root against Tom Brady. I've lost enough money rooting against Tom Brady. Right. I lost enough money rooting against Aaron Rodgers. Listen, man, they'll be in the Final Four. Those guys, give them the credit. I've said too many cash apps. I'm done.
All right, lastly, man, I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. I just want to say this. If anybody wants to comment on this, you can if you want, but I want to wrap up this real fast. Ohio State coach Ryan Day said this morning, actually yesterday morning, that it takes $13 million in endorsement deals to keep his roster intact. Anybody want to drop in there? Because college football is about to change as we know it. And the NIL is basically starting to try to grab some money to keep some of these players. Now they're getting pushed back and pulled from a lot of money and endorsements, man. Anybody out here want to comment on this and say, do you think football is going to change in the college levels because of college players being paid now with these endorsement deals, or you think it's going to be business as usual? Anybody who wants to go first?
Good for them.
Fig, you got to go.
The thing is that these college organizations get money from advertisers, and the athletes can barely get a decent meal plan. And I think it's disgusting. And it's time that they get up off of some of that money and they pay some of these student athletes, especially the ones who make it possible for them to make the money.
But the question is, do you think the money is coming out? It's about to come out. Rodney, I'm gonna throw it out to you. In fact, do you think the money's coming out right now?
Hold on, Frank. He said it's disgusting. The meal, right?
The fact that they don't have a decent meal plan, like, because some of these guys, they say after they get finished practice,
My bad.
they can't even go and get something to eat.
I thought they was doing like we did us in high school. Friday was a Roman holiday.
Right? You think the money's gonna change the way these deals are coming out?
Well, it has to. It'll definitely change the landscape of how business is taken care of. That's why you see some of these big coaches pushing back a little bit. But I mean, the NCAA this is a long time coming, man. I heard one of the players say last week, man, is that as they were doing the draft, he said, I'm just tired of playing football for free, and so you run the risk of catching an injury, of ending a career, and never making the money, right. and you put your body on the line. So, and how about this? You don't really get to leave early,
right?
Like basketball, and so it's a good thing. The money is not coming from the schools, but you create a lot of windows for cats to earn money that couldn't earn money just a few months ago. I think it's a good thing.
All right, that's it. We get ready to roll up out of here. T, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, follow me at mealplan.com. I got Roman holiday. I got meatloaf. And everybody's favorite, I got egg salad Saturdays. Talented comedian on Instagram.
Listen, man, I love this, and when I get a little amped up doing my thing, but don't take none of this stuff personal, because to me, it just is what it is.
Okay.
How you gonna? I thought you was gonna do my slogan, son of a bitch.
I wanted you to do it because I feel bad because I can't.
I done leaned up. I done leaned up and everything to hear it.
I can't do this.
Rodney, how to everybody how to follow you, bro?
Hey, I'm easy to find. Rodney Perry live on all social media. I'm at the Uptown Comedy Corner, all new Uptown Comedy Corner, all weekend. I'm excited about going back into the space, man. It's been a place for a lot of milestones in my career.
Mike.
Follow me at Why the Hell is Brittany Griner Still in Jail? And also shout to everybody coming out. Shout to the legendary Black Thought and Quincy Harris. I'm doing a comedy show with them tonight. Black Thought out here in Philly. So we're gonna rock out tonight.
Nice.
Wow, that's hot.
And Amir, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you, Amir. Appreciate you. Tell everybody out there they can follow you, Amir. And
down there at the bottom, I'm A-Rock Silly on Instagram, and I'm Amir Silly on Twitter, and Amir Silly on Facebook. Salute. Love you, gentlemen. Have a great weekend.
You all have a safe weekend in your travels and everything else. You all know what's going on with these people shooting crazy and everything else. So you always look over your shoulders, man. Be careful, be safe, especially on these stages, man. And the stuff I've been hearing the last week alone is not being reported. It's crazy. Y'all be safe out there, man. And
if you see me running, you better come on.
SpongeBob Box Seats. It's definitely with comics. We talk sports. We'll see y'all Monday. And that's it. We'll see you. Peace.
Just look over.